Hey everyone. Welcome back to day 29 of 30 Days to Fluent English. I'm Peter, and today's episode is going to be really important because we're talking about the most common mistakes English learners make and how to fix them.
That's right. Have you ever made a mistake in English and thought, why do I keep getting this wrong? Or maybe you've been speaking for years, but certain errors still come up in your conversations.
If that sounds familiar, don't worry. Making mistakes is part of learning, but the key is to recognize them and correct them so you don't keep repeating them.
Sometimes, small mistakes, like using the wrong preposition, pronouncing a word incorrectly, or translating from your native language, can make your English sound unnatural or even confusing.
But here's the good news. Once you identify these mistakes and practice fixing them, you'll see a huge improvement in your fluency and confidence.
That's why, in today's episode, we're going to cover common grammar mistakes that make sentences sound unnatural, pronunciation errors that can change the meaning of your words, listening and speaking mistakes that slow down your fluency, and how to fix these mistakes permanently so you never make them again.
By the end of this episode, you'll not only know what to avoid, but you'll also have practical strategies to improve your English quickly and effectively.
So, if you're ready to take your English to the next level, let's get started.
Common grammar mistakes and how to fix them.
Let's start with grammar mistakes. These are some of the most common errors that learners make. And even though they seem small, they can change the meaning of a sentence or make your English sound unnatural.
The good news is, once you know what these mistakes are, you can fix them quickly and avoid them in the future.
Mistake number 1. Forgetting the third persons in present simple.
One of the most common mistakes learners make is forgetting to add an S to verbs when using the third person singular he, she, it in the present simple tense.
For example, a learner might say, he walked to work every day. Incorrect. The verb is missing the third persons.
The correct way to say it is, he walks to work every day.
This mistake happens because in many languages, verbs don't change in this way. But in English, when we talk about he, she, or it, we must always add an S to the verb.
Let's try some quick practice. Listen to these sentences and repeat after me. She likes coffee. He speaks English very well. It rains a lot in winter.
Great job. Remember, this rule only applies to the present simple tense. If you're using the past or future, you don't need the dash S.
Mistake number 2. Mixing up past simple and present perfect.
Another very common mistake is confusing the past simple and present perfect tenses.
Many learners say something like, I have seen him yesterday. Incorrect. The present perfect doesn't work with specific time words like yesterday.
The correct way to say this is, I saw him yesterday. Use the past simple for specific times.
So when do we use the past simple and when do we use the present perfect?
Here's a simple rule to help you remember. Use past simple, saw, went, ate, when talking about a specific time in the past. I saw her last night. Specific time, last night. He visited New York in 2020. Specific time, 2020. Use present perfect, have seen, have gone, have eaten, when talking about an experience or something that has happened before, but we don't say exactly when. I have seen that movie. We don't say when. She has traveled to Japan. We know she has done it, but we don't say when.
Let's practice. Try choosing the correct sentence. I have seen him last week. Correct? I saw him last week. She has gone to France 3 times. Correct? She has gone to France 3 times.
Awesome. Just remember, use past simple when you say when, and present perfect when the time isn't specific.
Mistake number 3. Using the wrong preposition.
Another common mistake is using the wrong preposition. This happens because prepositions don't always translate directly between languages.
For example, many learners say, I'm good in English. Incorrect. The wrong preposition is used.
The correct phrase is, I'm good at English.
Here are some more common mistakes with prepositions. I'm interested about music. Incorrect. I'm interested in music. Correct. She's married with a doctor. Incorrect. She's married to a doctor. Correct? Let's discuss about the problem. Incorrect. About is unnecessary. Let's discuss the problem. Correct.
Prepositions are tricky because they don't always follow a clear pattern. The best way to learn them is to remember common phrases and practice using them in real conversations.
Mistake number 4. Using much instead of many, and vice versa.
A lot of learners get confused about when to use much and many.
The rule is simple. Use much with uncountable nouns, things you can't count one by one. I don't have much time. There isn't much water left. Use many with countable nouns, things you can count. I have many friends. There are many books in my room.
So, which one is correct? I don't have many money. Correct. I don't have much money. There aren't many chairs in the room. Correct. There aren't many chairs in the room.
Nice job. Just remember, if you can count it, use many. If you can't count it, use much.
Let's quickly review the grammar mistakes we talked about today. Always add an S to verbs in the third person singular. He, she, it. Use past simple for specific times and present perfect for experiences. Be careful with prepositions. Learn them in phrases. Use much for uncountable nouns and many for countable nouns.
Your challenge for today. Try making 3 sentences using these correct grammar rules. The more you practice, the more natural your English will sound.
Now that we've fixed grammar mistakes, let's move on to another important topic. Common pronunciation mistakes and how to correct them.
Common pronunciation mistakes and how to fix them.
Now that we've covered common grammar mistakes, let's talk about another big challenge for English learners, pronunciation mistakes.
Pronunciation is important because even if your grammar is perfect, if people can't understand you, communication becomes difficult.
The good news is, once you identify these pronunciation mistakes and practice fixing them, your speech will become clearer and more natural.
Mistake number 1. Dropping final sounds.
One of the biggest pronunciation mistakes is not pronouncing the final sounds of words. Many learners tend to drop the last consonant in a word, especially sounds like T, D, and S.
For example, some learners say, "What time is I?" missing the final T in what and it.
The correct pronunciation is, what time is it? Each word is clearly pronounced.
Here are more examples where learners often drop sounds. I want to go home. Incorrect, missing the final T in want. I want to go home. Correct, want should have a clear T sound. She like pizza. Incorrect, missing the final S in likes. She likes pizza. Correct, the S sound must be heard.
The problem is when you drop final sounds, your words can be misunderstood or sound incomplete. So always check that you're pronouncing the full word.
Let's practice. Repeat after me, making sure to pronounce every final sound clearly. What time is it? I want to go home. She likes pizza.
Great job. Keep practicing to make sure your words sound complete and clear.
Mistake number 2. Mixing up similar sounds. Minimal pairs.
Another common mistake is confusing similar sounds, especially vowel sounds. This can completely change the meaning of your sentence.
For example, many learners mix up ship and sheep. If you say, I like that sheep, it sounds like you're talking about an animal.
But if you meant a large boat, you should say, I like that ship.
Here are some other common pronunciation mistakes learners make with similar sounds.
If you mix these up, it can change the meaning of your sentence. So, practicing minimal pairs, words that sound similar but have different vowel sounds, is a great way to improve.
Let's try a quick pronunciation practice. Repeat after me. I like that ship. I like that sheep. He wants to live here. He wants to leave here.
Nice work. Practicing these words daily will help you hear and say the difference more clearly.
Mistake number 3. Long and short vowel confusion.
English has both short and long vowel sounds, and many learners don't realize how much this changes the meaning of words.
For example, listen to the difference between sit and seat. Sit, short I sound, /sit slash, also means to take a seat. Seat, long sound, t, means the place where you sit.
Here are more examples of short versus long vowels that learners often confuse.
If you say, I want to sit there, but pronounce it as I want a seat there, it can sound strange or confusing.
Let's practice. Repeat after me. I want to sit. I want to take a seat.
Perfect. Focus on making the vowel sounds clear and distinct.
Mistake number 4. Stressing the wrong syllable.
Another common pronunciation mistake is putting stress on the wrong syllable in a word. This can make words difficult to understand.
For example, let's take the word record. If you say it like this, I want to record a video. Incorrect. Wrong stress.
The correct way is, I want to record a video. Stress is on the first syllable.
Here are more words that change meaning based on stress. Noun, stress on first syllable. Verb, stress on second syllable. Record, a music record. Record, to record a video. Contract, a legal document. Contract, to make smaller. Present, a gift. Present, to introduce something.
Let's practice. Repeat after me. This is a record. I want to record a song.
Great job. Learning stress patterns makes your speech sound clearer and more professional.
Let's review today's pronunciation mistakes. Always pronounce the final sounds of words. Practice minimal pairs, ship versus sheep, live versus leave. Be careful with long versus short vowel sounds, bit versus beat. Use correct syllable stress to make words clear.
Your challenge today: choose one of these pronunciation mistakes and practice it by saying 5 sentences correctly.
Now, let's move on to common listening and speaking mistakes and how to fix them.
Common listening and speaking mistakes and how to fix them.
Now that we've covered grammar and pronunciation mistakes, let's talk about another big challenge: listening and speaking mistakes.
Many learners struggle with understanding fast English and speaking fluently, not because they don't know enough words, but because they're making small mistakes that slow them down.
The good news is, once you identify these mistakes and fix them, your English will sound much more natural.
Mistake number 1. Thinking in your native language before speaking.
One of the most common mistakes is translating sentences in your head before speaking. This makes you speak slowly and can lead to unnatural sentence structures.
For example, a learner might think in their native language first, then translate word by word into English. This often results in awkward sentences that don't sound natural.
Instead of translating, try thinking directly in English. Start with simple words and short sentences.
For example, if you want to say, I need to buy some groceries because I'm out of food. But if translating takes too long, try starting with a simple version. I need food. I will go to the store.
This way, you train your brain to think in English without translating. The more you practice, the faster you will speak.
Try this exercise. Next time you want to say something in English, force yourself to say it in simple words without translating.
Mistake number 2. Not using contractions.
Another mistake is not using contractions when speaking. Native speakers almost always use contractions in casual conversation.
For example, many learners say, I am going to the store. I do not have food. Too formal, sounds unnatural.
The natural way to say this is, I'm going to the store. I don't have food. More natural.
Here are some common contractions to use in daily conversations. Full form, contraction, I am, I'm, you are, you're, he is, she is, it is, he's, she's, it's, do not, don't, does not, doesn't, will not, won't, going to, gonna.
Let's practice. Repeat after me. I am happy. I'm happy. She is late. She's late. I do not know. I don't know.
Good job. Using contractions will help your speech sound faster and more natural.
Mistake number 3. Not using filler words.
Many learners speak in a very direct way, which can sometimes make their English sound unnatural or too robotic. Native speakers often use filler words to make their speech sound smoother.
For example, instead of saying, I like movies, too short sounds unnatural.
A native speaker might say, well, I guess I really like movies. Sounds more natural.
Here are some common filler words that native speakers use. Filler word. How it's used. Well, starting a thought, well, I think it's a great idea. To keep the conversation going, it was, really fun. To clarify something, it wasn't that bad. Like, to pause naturally, it was like amazing. Actually. To add emphasis, actually, I really like this place.
Let's practice. Try adding filler words to these sentences. I like music. Well, I guess I really like music. That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Great job. Using filler words will make your speech sound more natural and conversational.
Mistake number 4. Speaking too slowly or too fast.
Another big mistake learners make is speaking either too slowly or too fast. If you speak too slowly, it can sound unnatural. But if you speak too fast, it can be hard to understand.
Here's a simple way to fix this. Focus on speaking at a natural pace and using natural pauses.
Let's compare two versions of the same sentence. Slow and unnatural. Hello. My name is John. First like. Playing soccer. Too fast and unclear. Hello, my name is John. I like playing soccer.
Now here's the correct way, with natural pauses. Hello, my name is John and I like playing soccer.
The key is to group words together naturally and not rush your speech. Try recording yourself and listening back to check your speed.
Let's review today's common speaking and listening mistakes. Don't translate word for word. Think directly in English. Use contractions to sound more natural. I am, I'm, do not, don't. Use filler words like well or I mean to make conversation smoother. Speak at a natural pace. Don't go too fast or too slow.
Your challenge for today, try one of these tips in a real conversation. You'll notice an immediate improvement in your fluency.
Now, let's move on to how culture affects language and communication.
Language and cultural expansion.
In English-speaking cultures, people focus more on clear communication than perfect grammar. But fixing common mistakes will help you sound more professional and confident.
For example, in the US and Canada, people expect direct communication, but they also use a lot of polite phrases. Instead of saying, give me the menu. People usually say, could I have the menu, please?
And in the UK, people use a lot of indirect speech to sound polite. Instead of saying, I don't like this, they might say, I'm not sure this is exactly what I expected.
Understanding these small cultural differences can help you communicate more naturally and effectively.
Challenge, task, and conclusion.
All right, here's your challenge for today.
Step 1. Pick one grammar mistake from today's lesson and practice correcting it in a sentence. Step 2. Practice one pronunciation mistake. Record yourself and listen to check for errors. Step 3. Use a contraction or filler word in a conversation today.
And in the comments, tell us, what's the hardest mistake for you to fix in English?
Tomorrow is our final episode. We'll talk about how to keep improving your English after this challenge. Don't miss it.
See you tomorrow. And until then, keep practicing and enjoy learning English.
Bye for now.